Well, hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Vasil and I'm restoring this 1974 Columbia 45. Ladies and gentlemen, to start this episode, I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for following along on my journey so far, because it's been a year since I've had this boat. It's kind of hard to believe. It has been very fast and very slow. I know that's an oxymoron statement, but believe you me, it's been a very quick, long year. In addition, I did get some comments asking where I was, if I was okay. I'm here and I'm okay. That hurricane didn't really happen. I think it was Hillary and it turned into a tropical storm. However, there are basically no excuses for me not having made content over the previous month. What I'm gonna say to you is that for this project to continue, this boat needs to come out of the water. That's the natural course of things to do, because I don't want to bring you guys mediocre content with me fixing small things here and there. We want to see this boat get restored, and that needs to be done out of the water from now on. On that note, having said that, where I was over the last month was trying to line up the ducks, put all my ducks in a row to get this boat out of the water, starting with the costs and the logistics. So let's address that issue, the costs and the logistics of getting this boat to a dry dock about 10 miles away from where I am right now. Having sat in the water for a long time, about 3 years, the growth on the hull of this boat, on the exterior of this boat, is quite fantastic. It is like this in certain spots. So before this boat gets a chance to move, that needs to be cleaned. The costs associated with that are about $400. That's either for me to get some divers to come out here and scrub the bottom the day before or the week before I actually take the journey over to the dock to get this boat pulled out. Will cost me about $400. The other option is for me to actually purchase scuba gear and do it myself. I'm in the air about what to do on that front, simply because if I pay somebody to do it, that's great, that's money out of my pocket. If I buy the scuba gear, I have the scuba gear, but then I have to store it somewhere. So when this boat is going to be going under renovations on land, there's going to be some storage that's going to be associated with all of the stuff that I have that needs to be in a different portion than the boat. So I don't know if I'm gonna spend the money to get some scuba gear or just have somebody clean the bottom of this boat, but either way, the costs with scrubbing this boat is about $400. Once the bottom of this boat was thoroughly cleaned, and this boat is as hydrodynamic as we could possibly get it before I take my journey, let's assume I can make it to the boatyard and this boat will be pulled out of the water. So the crane charges to pull it out of the water is $350. So it's $700 if you want to launch and relaunch. So in one way, it's $350 to pull this boat out of the water. Taking advantage of the crane while I'm getting hauled out of the water, a couple other things need to happen. One, for transport, the mast needs to be pulled. So the demasting process is going to be about $300 as well. That takes about 2 hours of crane time, assuming nothing goes wrong. But overall, it's another $300 to pull the mast out of this boat. And staying on the topic of crane time, the engine, the diesel engine that I currently have in this boat, will also be pulled out at the same time. I'm assuming about an hour's worth of crane time, so another $150, again, assuming nothing goes wrong. So there we go. Before the boat even gets a chance to make it onto the truck, we have to make our way to the boatyard, pull the boat out of the water, demast the boat, and then pull the diesel that's currently in the belly of this boat out of the boat. The truck that's going to carry this boat from the boatyard to the dry dock, the estimate that I got so far is $1,700. That it's a $1,700 one-way trip from the boatyard to the dry dock. So there we go. That's what the transportation costs are going to be one way. Not a cheap endeavor whatsoever, but that's how you do it. There's no other way to pull a 45-foot sailboat to a dry dock. Once I have a chance to make it to the dry dock, they have a crane there. They can take the boat off the truck and then locate it in the location where it's gonna be for a period of time. My guess is 6 months to a year. And there is obviously a rental agreement that goes along with storing the boat at the dry dock. The current rates that I got for 1 month is $850. So a typical renter's agreement collects the first and last month upon the signing of the contract. So $850 times 2, we're looking at $1,700 for first month and last month's rent at the dry dock. Here's one thing I did not anticipate. So all of those costs, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I contacted the guy that was gonna send over the contract for the dry dock, and in the contract, in the fine print, if you read it, there is a deposit. The deposit, which I did not expect at all, and it is a hefty deposit. The deposit fee is $100 per foot. This being a 45-foot sailboat, that is a $4,500 deposit, which again I did not budget for. So obviously the deposit is refundable once you leave the boatyard, but that's a lot of moolah. That's $4,500 that I just didn't expect to be part of this process of moving this boat to a dry dock. So yeah, that I'm butthurt about that. After getting over being butthurt about that, I can understand the guy where he's coming from with that $4,500 deposit, $100 a foot. Reason being, after going to that boatyard, there are many boatyards that were once the dream of a man, thus myself, like myself. And guess what? They gave up, ran out of money, died, whatever the reason is. That guy is now stuck with that boat on his yard, and there's very little he can do with it until a period of time gives him the rights to that boat, in which case he then has to sell it and hopefully recover the amount of money that was dumped into the land which that boat was occupying during the time where the legal process had to take its route. So I 100% understand where that's coming from. That boatyard is full of broken dreams, and I'm hoping that's not going to be the case for me. So I'm very dedicated, but again, I understand where that deposit is coming from. As much as it hurts, it's something that needs to be done, and I understand why it's being done. The one last thing I'm going to put on the budget for that form is a $1,000 unexpected whatever budget. So another $1,000 that I'm going to tack on top of all of the costs I just gave you guys, specifically in case something comes up, because it always does. That's Murphy's Law. I'm hoping $1,000 is enough for me to budget for that, but we will find out when we go and take this journey and get this boat over to the dry dock. If my math is correct, if we add up every single line item I just gave you guys, it should add up to $10,100. $10,100. Fucking A, that is a lot of money. I did not anticipate this costing that much. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Here's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and why this boat is not making as much progress as I would like for it to make, and that is my job. So my job is being a salesperson 6 days a week. I work 6 days a week. Some of those days are as much as 14 hours a day. I have no time at all for myself, for any kind of social relationships, and for this boat. So this video, before it comes out, I'm gonna have to have the very hard conversation with my manager and end that job. So as much as that job has been fun, and it needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna go back to the service industry, because this is supposed to be my main priority. I wanted to focus as much on this boat as I possibly can, and for me to do that, I need to work 3, max 4 days a week, so I can, one, restore this boat, and also bring you guys the content that you deserve for giving me the time that you take to watch these episodes. So it's always difficult to leave a job and take on a different job, but in this case it is absolutely necessary, because I don't have the time. I don't have the time right now to dedicate to the things that I want to do with this boat. So it's very unfortunate, but that's where I'm at in life. Staying shortly on the topic of jobs, the other thing about this job is I did not make as much money, nearly as much money as I thought I was going to make with this job. So what I had budgeted for and the reality of the circumstances are that they don't match. So I did not make what I thought I was going to make. Therefore, I currently do not have the money to undertake this project, because if I put everything I have into moving this boat to the dockyard or to the dry dock, then at that point I'm broke. So there needs to be a reserve fund before this boat comes out of the water and makes its way over to the dry dock, and that's just the right way to do it. You don't want to blow all of your eggs in one shot, put all your eggs in one basket. Not really sure how that analogy goes, but I think you guys get the point. So there's going to be a saving up period for me before I'm able to undertake that project. On a side note, guys, I told myself I was going to give it a year before I asked for any financial contributions to this project. Having surpassed that hurdle, I will be setting up a Patreon page where anybody can then donate to this channel and help support the cause of restoring this boat. If you can, guys, please go to the Patreon page. It will be listed in the show note captions down below, and donate to this cause. It's not required, but guys, it will help me tremendously, because the rate at which I can restore this boat is highly correlated to the amount of money I can bring in from what's going to be my new job and any donations that come in from you guys. So again, thank you in advance, any of you that have a chance to contribute to this channel. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And guys, I would like to apologize for not having content over the last month, but please understand I was extremely overloaded and problems have just been building up on my plate, and I have not been able to address those due to the lack of time. So once again, guys, it is fantastic to be back. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you have a chance, please check out the Patreon page. I'd love to have some support from you guys to move this project along. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.